Joining me in the studio this morning, I've got Monmouth College Sports Information Director, Mr. Nathan Baliva. You can't blame me now for the good forecast, or you can credit me for the good forecast since I take the blame for the bad forecast.
Yeah, I'll give you credit for that. I don't like the 90s on Sunday there for some of our outdoor events, but the rest of it sounds pretty good.
I was going to say, it does just figure, though. The week looks great, and then your schedule is jam-packed on Saturday and Sunday back up into the 90s.
That's not a great thing to be out there and dealing with all that, but it's tough for them to play in it. They got used to it a little bit last week. Had a few days where couldn't practice at all. Outside with that heat index, the rules 115 with the feels like, which they probably thought a lot. Hey, that'll never happen. And then we had it on like 3 straight days last week. I know it was a deal with high school sports too. And, obviously a lot of the football games moved to either Saturday or you guys kicked off at 8, right?
Yep.
Moved to later at night. I know a lot of the games, moved to Saturday too and either played, later in the afternoon or at night on Saturday. We did the same thing with the women's soccer exhibition, moved from, I think it was originally scheduled for 1 to 2, got moved to 5, to get out of that heat a little bit. But yeah, there were no outdoor practices between 11 and 6, I think, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when it was in the 1-teens or whatever it was at. So they were either going, they were either going early in the morning and then classes started on Wednesday, or they were going late at night, or we're doing things just inside, in the weight room with that. So, a little bit different there. So not exactly the ideal first week of practice that I'm sure all the coaches wanted, but, there's a lot of things you can't control.
Yeah, it's early in the season.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, we won't even remember, right?
Maybe if things are going well, right?
Yeah. If not, darn that heat.
Yeah.
Had a couple scrimmages, football scrimmage and volleyball scrimmage this week.
So football scrimmage. Last Friday they scrimmaged at Augustana. This week it was a red-white. They played 3. Well, the first 2 quarters were true quarters. The third quarter they stopped all kicks in the third quarter, so it was just a turnover on downs after a 4th down, and the offense always wore white and the defense was wearing red. That's how they split it up. So if they got stopped on the 30, everybody just walked to the other 30 and go back the other way. But it was funny because we were putting all the points up for white, so it looked like it was whatever it was 28 to nothing, I think, in the third quarter. There were a couple really nice plays and some things that, it's also tough too, because there were some times where they would blow the play dead for a sack, I say in quotation marks, where the quarterback probably would have been able to scramble, but that's not how we're not going to let that happen in a red-white game. So some things were different. Third quarter, then they didn't kick, and the fourth quarter was 7.5 minutes, and to get some of the freshmen and the young guys out there. But yeah, had a bunch of parents there for that. There were a lot of parents here for the women's soccer game. I saw the first goal from there, which was a penalty kick goal after a foul in the box by Blackhawk, and then that's when I left to come over to get set up for football. So they scrimmaged there, and then volleyball was down at IC. They played against Fontbonne, Blackburn, and IC. So have not talked to Coach yet. Not sure how that went on Saturday, but they had those 3 going. Both soccer teams will scrimmage again this week. The women go to Illinois Wesleyan. The men are going to go over and play Sandburg and get their exhibition in. And then we had one real match over the weekend, which was women's tennis. They went over to Central in Pella, Iowa, and lost 6-3, but played a really competitive match. If you look, into the numbers, we had 2 newcomers who played extremely well. Ivana Stefanova at number 2 singles got a victory in her first ever college match. She's out of Hoffman Estates High School up in the Chicago suburbs. And then Kat Ransenthaler, who's from Linz, Austria, got a win at number 3 singles. They teamed together and won at number 1 doubles as well. So they picked up all 3 points. Natalie Lebicki, who's our top returner, newcomer of the year last year, she played at number 1 singles, won the first set 6-2, and then lost in a third set tiebreaker. If they're tied in NCAA tennis, after a set for Division III, they play a super tie break to 10 points, and that went 10-5. So that was a loss there. Both the other doubles teams lost 8-2. Again, they play 8-game super set in college doubles. So, pretty good results from the newcomers. So when you get a freshman and a Kat's exchange student from Austria, you get those two jumping into the team, and they're both in the top 3 singles and playing together in doubles. That's a pretty good first result.
Yeah, I just like the tennis name Ivana Stepanova.
Yep, and it's funny too because we did the name stuff earlier a couple weeks ago, and then when I typed it this week and all day this morning as I was driving here, I was saying, "Don't say Sharapova, don't say Sharapova," because I was like, as a tennis fan, that's what gets stuck in your head for 20 years that she played and was a top contender. So that was my goal for today, was not to call her Ivana Sharapova. So I got that part down right. But yeah, that'll be the tough part for me this year when typing her name or saying it, because it's so close but so different at the same time. Yeah. So so they were our first match of the year. So they got things off and running over in Pella this weekend, and coach sent a couple pictures of the newcomers, so that was great, and got those up on our social media on Saturday over the weekend.
Nice. Schedule picks up a little bit this week.
Yeah,
everybody
sure does.
Kind of gets started this week.
Yep, the first is the official first day, so everybody plays at some point over the weekend, and there's a lot of matches for us in the state of Iowa for non-conference this weekend. So golf goes over to Quad Cities. That's actually hosted by Augustana, so it's on the Illinois side of the river. But they go up there for a 2-day event, both men and women, on Friday and Saturday. And then the rest of our teams are pretty much all in Iowa, except for those that are home. Tennis goes to Dubuque. They're going to play Loris on Friday night, and then on Saturday they're going to stay there and they're going to play the University of Dubuque, and they play Wisconsin Stout on Saturday for that match. And then volleyball's at a tournament in Grinnell. They've got 2 matches on Friday and 2 matches on Saturday for them as well. And then cross country's over in Cedar Rapids. That meet's actually hosted by Cornell, but it's in Cedar Rapids, so they're going to go over there and run on Friday night. And then we've got men's soccer is also at Loris, so they're up there. They've got 2 matches. Both the soccer teams have 2 matches this weekend. Men are going to play against Loris on the road on Friday, and then they will be at home on Sunday. That's why I didn't like your 90 whatever degrees you said on Sunday. They kick off at noon, so hopefully it won't be as hot yet early on Sunday, so fans can come out to Peacock and check out men's soccer on Sunday. And women's soccer will actually be our first home event. They play there on Friday at 4 o'clock against Maranatha Baptist, so fans can come out on Friday. Friday is National Show Your College Colors Day, so we hope fans will wear red anyway when they come out, but especially on Friday for that. That's a big NCAA day, kind of to kick off September and to kick off the college season. And then the women's soccer team will head to Milliken for their second game this weekend. And then football is at Wartburg. They're going to kick off at 7 p.m. on Saturday night, so they're headed over there to play there. So, yeah, we've got everybody in action, and like I said, most football, men's soccer, tennis, cross country, and volleyball are all in the state of Iowa at some point over the weekend for games in Dubuque and at Wartburg and in Cedar Rapids, and then Grinnell for volleyball. So it's a very busy weekend, and we're sending a lot of kids over to Iowa for a couple days.
Yeah, I'm looking ahead on the schedule. Even in the next week, there's still not a whole lot of home stuff.
Nope, the home schedule is very second half balanced for the fall schedule. Next weekend we've got tennis on Friday against St. Ambrose, which is men and women, and then football on Saturday. JV will play on Sunday, but that's it at home next weekend. The soccer teams are going up on a road trip to play 2 games. They're going to go to Rockford first and play on Friday, and then they go up to Madison and play Edgewood. Volleyball's at another tournament. Volleyball has 3 straight tournaments, one at Grinnell, one at North Central, and then the other one is back over in Iowa and Dubuque. So last year, and that's the conference schedule is on a 2-year rotation, and then it changes completely. So for volleyball last year, the last 2 years, we had the bye week the last week of the regular season, so we played our third tournament there. Now our bye week is in the middle. It's actually homecoming weekend this year, October 6th and 7th. So we play 3 straight tournaments to start because that last weekend we're at home, which will be senior day, against Grinnell. So that's why that schedule flipped. Same thing happens in basketball is a 2-year thing. So our bye week's not the last week of the season anymore. Baseball had been the last weekend of the season the last couple of years. Now it's in the middle, and softball flipped last year, so they're a year ahead. But yeah, the rest of them that's how those schedules work. So that's why the football schedule is different this year too. We play Chicago is the conference opener because that schedule flips every 2 years. So we'll have Chicago this year at home for the conference opener. Next year we'll be at Chicago for the conference opener, and then it'll completely flip again after that. The only game that stays the same on the football schedule is your last game is the rivalry game. Right. So that everybody's paired up with their rival, and that one doesn't change, but the others change off of some algorithm, computer setup that
Something
they have. So
beyond our pay scale.
Yep, and like in the other sports, football, everybody has the same bye week, but in the other sports, they also rotate your bye week because some people don't want to have a bye week as the last week of the season. Some teams probably do, but that's they figure all that out in the coaches committees for each sport, but they rotate that through, and that way it's not the same forever. It's not like you're always locked into that last weekend bye where maybe you'd rather be playing to before you go to the conference tournament in the sports where there's only 4 that qualify. You might be sitting like last year in baseball or 2 years ago in baseball, we were sitting there just waiting.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going to happen between these other teams? And you have and you're on a bye and you have no idea. So that rotates to kind of make it fair for everybody.
Who's our football rival again?
I don't remember their name, but it's like 24 in a row is their name.
Yes,
I think
that's the one.
So yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. All right, my man. Again, a lot of stuff on the road, and if you go to mamascots.com, go to the composite calendar or each team's kind of section of the website, you can find where you can see the videos.
Yep, and those that follow along as well on Twitter, we'll have in-game updates at Monmouth Game Day, and then all the rest of our accounts will have the schedule, the results, and that stuff, but we'll do in-game updates there on Twitter. We'll have all the recaps up on the website as soon as we can, and like you said, video for all the home events at mamascots.com. Easy for me to say this morning. There's a webcast link up in the right corner. We'll have all the home events there. We tested out a couple of them this weekend on the exhibitions, and fingers crossed we'll be ready to roll on Friday at 3:45.
Sounds good.
Right.
We'll come back with Monmouth College football coach Chad Braun. We've been speaking with Sports Information Director Nathan Baliva.